Different location. It feels weird. Also, I feel like this could double up as a hat. Perfect. Okay, hi. We're doing a non-bookish video today because I've had the revelation that not every single video I make on my channel needs to be about books. So this one isn't about books, it's about TV. Different form of medium, different form of entertainment. Hopefully you guys like this video. This is basically, I think it's 15 of my best TV shows of all time that I wanted to mention, TV shows I have enjoyed over my life. We're not going to go delving into the childhood TV shows because I think we all know that Arthur would win that by a landslide but I'm going to share with you 15 of my top TV shows and why I like them. I'm trying not to include like the obvious TV shows, like go down a Game of Thrones type of route, because we all know that everyone loves Game of Thrones except the people that don't, but we'll forget about them for now. This is TV shows I think you may or may not have heard of. Quite a lot of them you probably have heard of, but some of them you might think, oh, what's that? I'll give it a go. I've got no idea where some of these would be streamed, but take the sentiment that these are the TV shows that I've liked, and I wanted to let you know. First up is a show called Years and Years. This one aired, I think it was last year. Basically, it shows a baby being born and the family coming to the hospital, and one of them's holding the baby and it says, God, I wonder what things are going to be like 5 years from now. Cue to like this amazingly cool fast forward montage of 5 years and everything that happens within those 5 years in the UK and worldwide, but it's set in England. And then the reality of 5 years later, and then every few episodes we jump forward more years into the future, and I think we end up being like 10 or 15 years in the future by the end of the series. This TV show is so clever. If you are someone that likes Black Mirror and that kind of weird futuristic dystopian mind-bending scary kind of thing that's like, God, this could actually be reality, this is for you. If you're someone that questions your life, the universe, and thinks about every existential crisis that the world could put onto us because it's definitely becoming a scary, fiery place, maybe this one is not for you. But I really enjoyed this TV show. I just thought it was so well done. It was so interesting following this specific family as they go through their experiences within this new world that is being created, but makes you think. Very Black Mirror-y, very cool, really liked it, and I don't know if there'll ever be any more into this world that we look at, but it was really good series, so that's Years and Years. Then we've got Big Little Lies, which is a fantastic TV series. It's based off of a book called Big Little Lies, and this series follows a group of women who are all friends in some way or another, living very rich lives in America. Their kids will go to this expensive private school and that's how they all know each other, but they're all very different from each other. And basically at the start of this TV series we see that somebody has been murdered and people are being interviewed about who has been murdered, but we don't know who it is. And this basically follows the story of trying to get to who has been murdered. We start at the end of the story and then go back to the beginning immediately after in the first episode and work all the way towards the end of the series to find out who has been murdered and what's happened. I love the vibe this series gets. It's that typical like rich lifestyle that we all would desperately like to dream of. However, it's the reality that lies underneath it of like, okay, this isn't quite so great. So it's really good. I really like Big Little Lies and the atmosphere and the vibe that it gives off. Then we have got American Horror Story, which is bloody fantastic. American Horror Story is... I don't think anything else has done what American Horror Story has managed to do, in the sense that every single series we are in a different setting and a different time with different characters. However, in some way I do think they all interloop together, so we could be back in time, we could be slightly futuristic, post-apocalyptic, we could be on modern day, and it just... it's a horror setting. There's lots of different typical horror stories. For example, the first season is Murder House. We've got things like a circus type vibe and well, it's called a freak show, and an asylum, for example, an apocalyptic scene as well. And the cast are recycled through each series, which I think is absolutely fantastic. They kept on and take on different roles within those series, which just adds a different level to it because you love those actors and you want to see who they're going to portray next, but you kind of have to get used to loving a whole new character for them. Just big props to American Horror Story. What they do is absolutely brilliant. Then we've got New Girl, which is a new favourite for me. I'm currently halfway through the whole of it, giving it a watch for the first time. I'd always watched like bits when it was on TV, back in the days when we used to watch TV and Netflix hadn't taken over our lives. But this basically just follows a group of friends who live in a loft building. It centres around Jess, who's played by Zooey Deschanel, and she moves into this loft with these three guys, and it's about their living together and their life, and it's just 20-minute episodes. It's short, it's fun, it makes you feel good, it's wholesome, it makes me happy. There's very positive vibes that I get from it, and New Girl is just my go-to like easy watching at the moment. Then we have Once Upon a Time, which used to be one of my absolute favourite TV series. Now what we're going to do is forget like post season 4 or 5 until we get to the last few episodes of the last season. There was a bit middle to end that just completely flopped, but Once Upon a Time is your favourite storybook characters brought out into the real world and come to life. They're all under a curse, they can't remember who they are, and they're thrown into our modern day world. And honestly, it's so craply made in terms of the production costs for it, but it's so much fun. I'm rewatching it at the moment with my sister, and honestly, this series, I've just followed it for so long. The final series we'll just completely forget because it's a different time zone. No. But the one before that, the last episode of the characters that we know, just made me cry a lot. The whole series is fantastic. I really, really like it. But I also acknowledge that it is absolutely pants in terms of visually how it looks and the graphics and things. And the story is cheesy as heck at some point, but at the same time, do we care? No. Do we love it anyway? Absolutely. Next, a British UK drama-y thing, Life on Mars, starring John Sims, which is just... basically the main character is in an accident and then he wakes up in the 70s and he has no idea how he's got there, and he knows he shouldn't be there, and he's trying to work out how he gets back to the modern day, and whilst at the same time being a police officer in the 70s and solving crimes with a bunch of very different type of policemen to who he's used to. This series is all centred around David Bowie songs, which is just fantastic. Obviously the fact that it's called Life on Mars. The next series on from it is called Ashes to Ashes, which is a continuation sort of, but with a different character. And honestly, just love it. It's got mysteries in each episode, so if you want something where you can solve something, it's fantastic, but it's also the whole story of how the hell he gets back to the present day to sort out what he was leaving behind. But also the fact that he kind of wants to stay a little bit too, because these twisted weird police officers are actually kind of great. So love it. Love Life on Mars. Absolutely fantastic. Ashes to Ashes great too, but Life on Mars is the OG, therefore will always be my favourite. The next one is one I never thought I would like, but that is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. This is a musical rom-com-y thing that sounds absolutely shocking on paper and honestly is cringe a lot of the time. But it basically follows Rebecca Bunch, who has been kind of obsessing over this guy that she went out with when she was younger, and she bumps into him in the future and decides to follow him to his small American beach-esque town. It's only 2 hours from the beach, but it's just weird. She is bizarre. It's fantastically, brilliantly weird and funny and just so over the top. The music is just hilarious, catchy, annoyingly. It's the kind of show where you look at it and you think, why the hell would I ever watch that? And then you watch it and you're like, oh okay, yeah, cool, I'll keep going with this. It's bizarre, it's just terrible but brilliant at the same time, and it's just fun if you want something easy with songs that will get stuck in your head until the end of time. Okay, Editing Beth is coming at you with something real quick because the next clip you're about to watch includes me calling the TV show that I've listed within my top 15 the completely wrong name. The TV show is called Final Space, and for some reason, I always do this, I always think it's called Deep Space. I don't know why. Literally when I was in the middle of watching this show, I still called it Deep Space, even though I know it's called Final Space, so I think it's ingrained into my brain where I've given it the wrong name. But please, enjoy a couple of minutes of my complete idiocy of repeatedly saying the name of this TV show wrong. It is, in fact, Final Space, not Deep Space. I am an idiot. Next is an animated TV show called Deep Space. This is a short little series about a guy called Gary who is basically serving out a prison sentence on this spaceship on his own, whilst also trying to contact the love of his life, who doesn't even really know he exists. and also trying to look after this little weird alien blob called Mooncake. I don't even know where to begin to explain what Deep Space is about, but basically it's a funny, short animated series that follows this weird little ragtag bunch of complete bizarre friends, and it's just beautiful in the weirdest kind of way. It's honestly really weird, but I watched it recently and it was a perfect length of time for me to watch whilst I was doing a run on a treadmill at the gym, so it kind of suited that kind of thing for me. So yeah, definitely enjoyed it, but also absolutely bizarre. And another animation whilst we're at it would be Big Mouth. Big Mouth is just honestly the weirdest thing going. Big Mouth is all about puberty and teens, young adult children, people going through puberty and how they deal with all of the hormones and the urges, and there's hormone monsters in it, and honestly it's just fucking weird. It's so weird. I just like, it is the weirdest thing I have ever seen as an animation, and Family Guy does some weird stuff, but honestly there's no line for Big Mouth. The line is here and they're like over there. The hormone monsters that talk to these kids about how they're feeling and stuff are just bizarre. Like, it's hilarious, it's brilliant, and I love it very much. Then we've got a show that I have not watched for years, but absolutely loved it when I watched it at uni, and that is Misfits. Misfits is about a bunch of people who, I think, are they serving community service? They're definitely doing some community work because they are misfits. And basically they got caught up in something which gives them all special abilities, and they're basically not really friends at the start, but it's about how they form that friendship and how they get this bond over the fact they've all got these different abilities and what they can do with the abilities and what they should be doing with them and how they use the abilities. It's a fun show. I like the element of these abilities in it. I like the fact that they're a group of people that shouldn't have come together but did, and how they deal with that and how they get on with each other and how they're all very different from each other. And I just liked exploring the actiony side of this, as well as like just, it was just an easy fun watch where you feel like you're watching it with friends, really. It was good. I'm wanting to rewatch it now. I haven't watched it for years, but Misfits, excellent show. Okay, next one is a really recent one, and I don't even know how we heard about it, but it's called Manifest. A plane goes missing, and then 5.5 years later, it touches back down, except the passengers weren't aware it had even gone missing at all. So it's a bit of a mystery where this plane went. Obviously the people, like the relatives of the people on the plane, have been waiting for it to come back and assume the people dead, and then suddenly they rock back up again, except they've got the ability to be able to hear these callings that tell them things that are going to happen in the future that they have to sort out. This kind of plays with morality and the idea of why these people came back, and it questions whether they were brought back for a religious reason, whether it was a miracle, whether it was just a fluke of science or some sort of bizarre lightning storm. I like the different ways that this looks at why this would have happened and the way it assesses a miracle, because you've got people that go down the religious fanatic route, you've also got people that go down the science route, and then there's the people that just don't have a clue at all. And it's very clever. I really like this show. There's 2 seasons out at the moment. I'm desperately hoping that they do a 3rd season because I need it. But I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for something that will hook you after every single episode. Shocking script, but fantastic show. Next is my current rewatch that is every single evening for me and my family at the moment, and that is Desperate Housewives. This show gets dismissed all the time, I feel, because of its name. It sounds like it's a girly rom-com type of thing. It is not. It is a drama. There is so much happening. There are so many twists and turns, lies, deceits, murders, kidnappings, hostage situations. I love Desperate Housewives. I watched it many, many years ago and I can barely remember anything. And watching it again now is just so wholesome and just, oh, I love it so, so much. It really centres around 4 main housewives and their lives, but it also just features everyone on their street and how it all comes together and how the lives of the housewives are not quite what we think. It's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. I was very excited when I saw it was on Amazon Prime so we could start rewatching it. Honestly, it's just so addictive. If you're thinking, I don't like the name of it, it sounds too girly, it's not. Watch it, it's fantastic. Women and men and everyone will like this. Next up is Community, which I got recommended based off of another recommendation that I'm about to give you. This one is following a group of like 6 or 7, I can't remember how many, people in community college. They're all of different ages, different races, different genders, and it's just about their journey going through community college, why they need to be there, their own stories. It's very short episodes, it's stupid, it's funny, it's got Donald Glover in it, which is just instantly a yes because I think he's fantastic. And honestly, the whole thing is just an easy, fun watching for anyone that just kind of wants to get thrown back into that, like, I'm going to say education life because it's not really about the education side of it. It's about them having fun and going through their day-to-day lives in a humorous way that makes absolutely no sense, but yet we love it anyway because it's Community. Second to last is Friends from College, which I nearly forgot about, and then suddenly it came to me. I absolutely loved Friends from College when I watched it a couple of years ago, but I think that it got cut off and didn't get another series. Basically, it's just about a group of adults that were friends from college and how they've grown and changed in life but are still friends now, and how they try and kind of maintain that lifestyle but also want to have kids and have got married and things like that. It's just kind of fun because everything normally looks at the college experience, the uni experience, rather than post that. So I think to investigate what it's like post that in a comedic, short episode type of series is fun. It's what you need. I'm sad it got cancelled because I really enjoyed watching it. I think it got like, did it get 2 seasons? 1 or 2 at least? Obviously it got 1, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it, but be prepared to not watch any more seasons. This is when someone tells me they've actually extended it and I'll be happy, but I'm pretty sure they cancelled it. And finally, the last show on my list is Fresh Meat. This show meant a lot when I watched it. I watched this show as I was in the years at uni this show covers. It basically follows a group of housemates living together at uni throughout each of their 3 years studying. I watched this as each season came out of the year I was in at uni. So my first year was their first year. And I just kept watching it over and over again. When I left uni each summer to go back home, I would watch it as a reminiscent of wanting to be back at uni. There was something so pleasing about watching this. It's got Jack Whitehall in it, who I just find hilarious. It's got a bunch of other amazing people in it as well that just make it very, very funny. But for me, I could not finish this TV series. The last episode is their graduation, and I couldn't watch it because when I left uni I felt so upset I left because I loved it so much that I couldn't watch the last episode of this show and have them leave too. So to this day I absolutely love Fresh Meat dearly and I've watched it countless times, but I have never watched the final episode. Which is stupid, I know. Maybe one day I'll go back and watch it, but I love the vibe it gives off and the atmosphere of how uni living is. It doesn't make it look glamorous, it makes it look as difficult as it can be to scrape the money together when you're thrown into a house with people you don't know. And I love Fresh Meat, it's brilliant. If you're at uni, or if you're missing uni, or if you're looking forward to it, or you've been already, watch this show. That's all my recommendations for TV shows. These are 15 shows that I absolutely love and have loved in the past. Honestly, I had great fun writing this list because it made me think back to shows that I haven't seen for a while. There's other shows I absolutely adore, like for example an honorary mention goes to 90210, which I was obsessed with when I was a young teen because it was just really glamorous people living in America doing their absolute best lives of being filthy rich and having amazing things and amazing houses. Obviously there was some drama and stuff as well, but love 90210, desperate to find that on a streaming service, but I don't think it's on any of them. Anyway, that would get an honorary mention. There's so many TV series I absolutely adore at the moment. I feel like I'm getting more and more into them the more into lockdown we are progressing, or coming out of, are we coming out of it? I don't know. But these are 15 shows you can watch during lockdown if we're still in it by the time you're watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Drop down below in the comments any of these that you've watched and really enjoyed, or any that you would recommend to me. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, or subscribe to see more. I'm going to be doing a couple of recommendations like these. I'm going to do like a film recommendation one as well for my favourite films, and then I might do some recommendations for some weirder films because I feel I've watched a couple of weird films in my uni career life as well, so I may touch on those. But I like talking to camera about other things that don't just have to be books, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, keep smiling and stay positive.